Right, today we're with Dr. Ancha Baranova.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Ancha. Tell us a little bit about where you are and what you're doing.
Thank you, Stuart, for inviting me. I am professor at the School of Systems Biology in George Mason University in the United States. That's Fairfax, Virginia. We are very close to Washington, D.C. And I am working in the area of human diseases without being actually bound to one particular disease, because I am working in the area of biomarkers. Biomarkers are small molecules or any other measurable parameters which help us objectively evaluate certain condition or overall health of people. We did biomarkers in the area of liver research, in the area of cancer, and all over biomarkers of stress and well-being. And recently also I started to work in the area of coronavirus, like pretty much everybody, because coronavirus is here and this one very important problem that humanity faces.
Right, okay. Biomarkers are incredibly important for helping identify how people respond to both a virus and also treatment, aren't they?
Of course they are. Right now we do have some good biomarkers which help us to see which patient will go into the real bad state of their breathing real soon. For example, patients who are ready to be converted to the artificial ventilation of their lungs, people who are having cytokine storms, but we have not very much about the biomarkers which could predict who will get serious disease and who will just get asymptomatic or mild disease. The best we can do on that is just to see how many comorbidities people have, for example, diabetes type 2 or some atherosclerosis or some other serious complication. And we have general way of saying that if you have comorbidities or if you are older, then there is a greater chance that you will convert to the more severe disease. But we are working on biomarkers who can tell for everybody, even for young people, what is the probability that you will catch COVID being exposed or the probability of getting severe COVID.
Wow, so you will actually be able to help people understand that they are likely to get COVID or not. Is that right?
We hope so. We hope so. This is work in progress, but we do already have some tools in this area. One of those tools is PC Pro tool, which is deployed in Germany. It's an internet tool. It is working for people who already have their genomic sequences or exome sequences or other types of genotypings done.
Yep.
So it works with various kinds of files coming from 23andMe and other sources. So it's not an analysis as such, it is a re-analysis on your already existing data. Yep. And our software would process those data, would retrieve only some pieces of it which are relevant to coronavirus infection, and then predict whether you are in the high risk group or more or less risk group.
So then you know what to do in terms of getting vaccination.
Of course, it's especially important for countries where vaccination is not readily available and you really have a waiting list for vaccines. It will help to prioritize who need to get vaccine first, even among younger people, in order to get those who are most at risk more protected.
Right. Okay. And how long, I know you've been working on this since it obviously broke. How long is it away from, do you think, from the time that it can be presented to people? It's in sort of second stage testing, isn't it now in Germany?
Yes and no. Actually, it is already available to people and it's absolutely free. So BC Pro, if you just go to this website, BC Pro, and then you will see the interface. Maybe this interface is not very glitzy, like in case of 23andMe, but it is working interface. It has a button where you can upload your results there, and then you will get the prediction concerning how strong is the possibility for you to catch very severe COVID. Basically, that predicts how good is your immune response to the coronavirus antigens. We are right now working on second and third generation of the same software, where we would be able to differentiate between variants. So we would be able to say to people, okay, Delta variant is that much worse for you specifically than original COVID strain, for example. And also we really want real soon make the predictions of whether a particular person is likely to develop long COVID or post-COVID. Why it is in the making, actually we need people's help with that, because if you for sure know that you already got COVID and you have long COVID syndrome, or if you got COVID but you recovered and everything's good, then we really want to process your genome and then mark this genome into one or another category, so we can develop the predictor for long COVID, which would be then working in the future tense, which would be predicting for people who have not got COVID yet of how likely they would develop post-COVID or not likely to develop post-COVID after infection.
Is this only available in Germany at the moment?
No, it's available everywhere. Just the server is in Germany. But of course, if you are in England, you the same way can click the button and then upload your material, so it's available everywhere. It's not by prescription, it's just a regular server. You just go there and process your data. But you need to have the data, because we don't do any data, we don't do any DNA processing. We do not collect data. We do not collect this right now. We are just working with files which are already done by somebody else.
Okay, this sounds absolutely amazing and very helpful to people. And I know it's something that Edward Musinki, the founder of Lifetime Awards, would be very happy with, because he's all about trying to help people understand more about their situation and their health very much. And I know you're talking with him about becoming part of maybe one of the experts in the Lifetime Award scheme for assessing all things to do with COVID. Tell me, how long have you been doing this actual work, Dr. Ancha?
Well, actually, I'm in the field of longevity maybe for the past 10 years or 12 years or so. But that's a really interesting story, because I'm in science doing various kinds of studies for a very long time. And I always positioned myself and thought that I'm working in the area of cancer, in the area of insulin resistance, till I met a wonderful group of people who are working on longevity, and I was presenting my research, and they were referring to me as somebody who is doing longevity research. And I was telling them, well, but I'm not doing longevity research. I am working in areas of cancer and insulin resistance and systemic inflammation. And they told me, yes, that's what we are saying. You are doing longevity research. And that helped me. That helped me to look at the longevity research at the right angle. And that's how I became one of the people who works with longevity. I just looked at the common problems of old age from different angle. So that's how it all started.
Is it fair to say that COVID as a coronavirus does actually attack older types of immune system, particularly when they're in a weakened situation?
Yes and no. Of course, you are right. As soon as people get their immune system somehow deteriorating by any cause, it could be primary immune deficiency, secondary immune deficiency, because they use certain kind of drugs, which are actually very often given to people in older age, then there is a larger chance that coronavirus would be taking more severe form. That is true. But on the other hand, you cannot really say that, because coronavirus is affecting all ages. And it is very commonly misunderstood that if somebody is young and healthy, then this young and healthy person somewhat protected. So many people just going around and saying, it's okay, you know, COVID is just a flu. I got flu many times. I can get COVID, then I will recover, so I wouldn't bother to vaccinate, or I wouldn't bother to really protect myself. And those people are even making grave mistake, because they are young and healthy only till they stop being young and healthy. And
Right.
I strongly believe that coronavirus is one of the most prominent factors in aging our human populations right now. So this virus is moving us further towards the old age. Just one exposure is enough to subtract certain amount of years from the life. Of course, for younger person, there is a larger chance to recover completely, but it's not 100% chance, because the state of the body in the long COVID, and we have as many as 50% of people are getting at least some symptoms of long COVID, and at least a quarter of people are having syndrome of long COVID, which is being actually diagnosed by physicians. So getting into the state could be seen as part of aging. It is resembling aging.
Right.
And it's bringing upon the person other conditions which are associated with aging, because all diseases are enhancing each other, as we know.
Yes.
And this is really a very strong concern, which I believe is under-recognized by physicians and by just regular people as well. We need to talk with people more about that. What I really would like to see is that we do genomics research, or we parse existing databases, including Biobank of United Kingdom, of course, in order to find genetic determinants of who gets what, of how exactly viruses interacting with our genome, and how we get this data, and how we parse this data in order to give people predictions which would help to stratify their individual risks. Because post-COVID situation is not a uniform situation. Some people get post-COVID of certain types, and some other people get post-COVID of other types. Some people have more neurological symptoms. Some people get more cardiopulmonary symptoms of long COVID. Yes, and if you would know who is more likely to develop what, then we would give those people individual ways to prevent their slipping to this bad situation of long COVID. I can explain it with a very simple analogy. You cannot really fight on all fronts. If you are surrounded by enemies and those are diseases, and you're trying to just randomly push away one disease against, you're trying to push away one disease or another disease, you wouldn't succeed. But if you know precisely what you're gonna fight, you know precisely that in your particular body the problem is with kidney, so let's protect kidney. Because that's a vulnerability. That's how we win. So I believe that we need to know our genomes in order to do that. And I should say that in many countries right now, there are services as a companies which are making the products for people, where they can find individual particular features of their genome and know what is vulnerable in their particular genomes, like Atlas Biomed, for example, United Kingdom. So you do this analysis and you know how to fight if something bad comes to you. I think that is tremendous progress which we made in the past 5 years or so.
I agree with you. And if you know what you're treating and what you're likely to be susceptible to, I think it helps, and the medicine can do with all the help it can get, because I don't think coronavirus, COVID-19, or any of the variants is just going to go away overnight. It's going to be with us for some time, and we need to be aware that it is in the room.
And I think we also need to know that it's the largest aging factor. So people who are in longevity community and they want to prolong their life, one thing is to fight little things which might be playing a role in your aging in 20 years from now. And another thing is to recognize this enemy, which is right away and easily can eat up like 15 years of your life altogether, right? So it's more important danger, which is imminent. And I think that right now we already see the process which is happening in human populations. This is actual shortening of average human lifespan due to COVID, if you count average through population. by
Yeah.
the recent data which were published in the United States, and we lost about 600,000 people due to
Wow.
COVID, this number was enough to push average life expectancy for a little bit 1 year down. 1 year. So what we gained in the last 10 years in average life expectancy, we lost in one coronavirus year because a lot of people died from this. And this is actually delayed number because a lot of people get coronavirus, they got recovered. So they are here with us right now, but their state of health is so not good that they
Yes.
would die 5 years earlier, 3 years earlier. It all will accumulate and show in the next year statistics. So we unfortunately expect that this shortening of average lifespan will continue. It is not over even with vaccination or with pandemics being overcome,
But at least we'll understand it, and for future generations, we'll be able to do something about it. Dr. Ancha, thank you very much for that. I'll wish you well and hopefully speak to you again.
Thank you.